Hey guys, Rough Pup Services here again. This is Darren.
Hi guys, I'm Rebecca. Um, you guys might have already been watching our videos. If you haven't, we are answering some questions for you guys today. The other videos we've answered, a few questions, but they've all been the same topic. In this video, we're going to cover what could be a few different topics, but they all do really tie in together and we deal with them in similar ways. So we are going to look at covering dog reactivity, leash reactivity, nice leash walking skills, loose leash skills, some pulling, and then prey drive and animal distractions as well. From our question standpoint, Carol said reacting to other dogs on walks. Shannon can't even take him out to walk since he barks at people and scares them. Jennifer and William said pulling and prey drive. Carl said they also pull on the leash. Carl, I think we had a question from you earlier. Hopefully you've watched that video. If not, go in and find it. Alyssa said walking on a leash, they all want to be in the front. Krista said walking. And then Tori said chasing small critters and cats. My dog would be perfect if we could get that under control. Lori said jumps and barks at the TV if he sees any animals on there. Ooh, I just had a client dog that does that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Darren, do you want to take it away?
So I'm just gonna start with the all-encompassing here that we've kind of touched on a little bit, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but make sure that your dog is fulfilled before going into any of these situations with them.
Yeah.
That we have touched on that quite a bit, so I don't know what else to add to that right now. So we'll move on to some other points here. Go ahead, Rebecca.
So the only thing that I'm going to add on to that is we did go ahead and write up a blog post for you guys. That'll be posted probably later today. And we can always go ahead and link that in the comments for y'all to read through. It's going to cover how to fulfill your dog appropriately for their breed or breeds. And just like generally getting a better understanding of how you tell what your dog needs. And that different dogs have different needs as far as energy, mental stimulation, and drives. Do you want to go over structured play, or do you want me to?
You know what? You take it away this time. I
right.
did the last start off on that one, so let's have you pick it up.
So structured play is great for teaching your dog some boundaries, some self-control, and also fulfilling their needs. In structured play, we typically teach the dog a word or phrase that lets them know, hey, it's time to play, it's time to be high energy. And then within the play, just depending on how you're playing with your dog, there are different rules and boundaries, such as, hey, you can grab the toy, but you can't grab my hand. Or, if you're using like a rope ball, hey, target the ball, not the rope. You can roughhouse with me, but you can't put your paws on me. That's a good one. And then we teach the dog a phrase to let them know, hey, we're done playing now. It's time to go be calm. Or, hey, it's time to go off and do your own thing. And those are typically two different phrases if we're looking to create like real clarity for the dog. Go do your own thing is different from time to relax, because time to relax becomes useful in turning on and off your different drives a little bit more and just creating a clearer picture for your dog. It's not that they don't want to do those things anymore. It's just that they understand it's not time for those things. And because they get other time to express those drives and those needs, they're not as likely to want to or to need to express them once we've said, hey, time to be calm. Because the dog goes, oh, I'll get to do that later. No big deal.
And to kind of continue on that form of structured play would fall more under the fulfillment side of things. Whereas you could also use that structured play in these instances as a redirect, if that's possible, with your dog. If you see that they are loading up, or if they've been sitting there locked on something for, too long, you could then activate that play drive with, or that structured play with whatever your word is, getting them away from that distraction, and then also in turn creating that positive association with whatever that distraction trigger, so what have you, whatever it is, and they'll start to look to you instead of being locked on feeling that they got to handle it or be stressed out about this thing over there that's so scary.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or just so exciting.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people miss is that excitement and anxiety when we're talking about reactivity. To most owners is going to look like the same thing, but they are actually very different things. And that is why if you guys are dealing with leash reactivity, we're going to recommend that you guys work with a hands-on trainer near you. If you guys are coming from our local groups, understand that that's not a business pitch. That is truly what you and your dog likely need.
Yeah, we're not saying...
That's not us saying, hey, come to us. That's us saying,
you can find anybody.
Get help.
Literally anybody. Just get some help. Get some new eyes on it.
Yeah, absolutely, because we want to see you guys make progress. But here are some things to work on while you find that trainer. Same thing if your dog is actually like chasing down and killing animals. There's a huge difference between chasing a squirrel or a cat out of your yard versus the dog that is consistently chasing down and catching, squirrels, rabbits, vermin, whatever, and actively getting to the point of killing them or severely injuring them, because that does kind of unlock a different level of drive in your dog, as well as just showing that, like, your dog has that drive. And that's something to be a little bit more concerned about. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. Another way that you can start to kind of look at these things and defuse the situation is work on your recall with your dog. Just basic come to me and essentially stick with me, trust me, I got this.
Yeah.
So if you really want to work on a reliable recall, start small. Start with a nice 6-foot leash, let them go out to the end of it, work on recalling them off of that with no distractions, and slowly start to build up those distractions as you start to see your dog fully responding to that cue of, Max, come, and then they come to you. And we also add on to that, we're not asking the dog to do these things. We are telling them, this is what you have to do. You have to come to me in this moment. So making that very clear and being able to hold them accountable is why that leash is also there.
Yeah.
And, as you start to build up those distractions, don't immediately go to whatever the big stimuli is, chasing other animals, chasing cars, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Start small. Take their favorite toy. Chuck that in front of them while you're working through some of these things, and then have them recall off of that. If you've got access to, neighborhood kids, have them run around playing and being fun, and get your dog excited to want to go to that.
Yeah.
Call them off of that.
As long as it's safe.
Exactly.
Were you done with the recall?
I think that's all I got right now.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. So the only thing that I'm going to add on to the recall here is, even if you are dealing with just leash pulling, being able to come to a stop and call your dog back to you when they are at the end of the leash and they are pulling, is really useful, and it does kind of give you like a reprieve, knowing that, hey, they can get to the end of the leash, but I can call them back. It takes some of the stress out of it for most owners, where they're like, okay, I am starting to see some control. And I have some input on our walks now. So that can be super helpful while you just work on teaching like a heel or a loose leash walk. And then the other thing that I really wanted to get into was a release word. Yes. So this is helpful for all of them, right? This is helpful for leash reactivity, leash pulling, prey drive, animal distractions, all of those things, right? So we already talked about fulfilling your dog's needs and the structured play. This can be part of that, but not necessarily. Like, it doesn't have to. If you do the structured play, it will be part of it. But you can teach a release word without teaching structured play, if that makes sense. We have a square and rectangle situation here. So that release word is helpful because it really just allows you to teach your dog when they are allowed to do these things. So when is your dog out of a command and able to go to the end of their leash and sniff? When is your dog allowed to walk ahead of you? When is your dog allowed to chase a squirrel out of the yard? When is your dog allowed to go visit with a dog or a person that they know and that wants to visit with them? So that can just take a lot of the pressure off of your dog, knowing that they're going to still have opportunities to do some of those behaviors that they enjoy and that have become a habit and a release for them in a healthy way, right? And it takes the pressure off of you guys when you've done other training and you know that you can bring your dog back under control or under a command when you need them to. So, release word, super powerful. Your dog does not need to be in a heel the entire time you walk. Your dog does not need to be in a command the entire time you're at the park or in the backyard. Release words are powerful. They allow you to take pressure off of your dog. Do you want to cover teaching the heel a little bit?
I can. So
There's already a lot of information out there.
There is. So I'm not going to get super detailed on it. You can find a lot of information on just how to properly teach a heel with your dog, and there are so many ways. Find what works for you and your dog. But what I will say is, in teaching that heel, keep in mind that it is not the actual movement itself. A heel is a position where your dog is expected to be at your heels, walking nicely beside you, so that way they're not able to have that tension on the leash.
Yep.
They have this little pocket that they kind of sit in with you, and they move according to your movements, your speed, your tempo. You call the shots on that. But also in teaching that heel, bouncing back, you got to have a release word as well. Don't expect your dog to have a marathon in a heel.
Yeah.
Don't even super well-trained dogs, that's not expected of them. They still need to be able to sniff, do their own thing, enjoy the walk, but being able to kind of turn off, okay, you're free, now you've got to work.
Yep.
Now you're free, now it's time to work. And just keeping it interesting with your dog. Really activate that mind as well.
Yeah. I think that was great. I think that really covers it. Like Darren said, there's tons of information out there. There are some trainers that have great online courses. We have some information on our YouTube, our Patreon, and if you want to dig through our Facebook to find it, you can find it there too. Whereas Patreon, YouTube, you can kind of search it up. And just on how to teach that heel, because there are a dozen ways to do it.
If not more.
Yeah, if not more. As you're looking, if you are looking beyond our training stuff that gets put out, look for the trainer that's teaching it as a position and not a movement, because you're just going to have better luck, right? If you find a trainer on YouTube that's just teaching it as a movement, you're not going to get a long-lasting result. It needs to be, hey, stay by my side. And that doesn't matter if I'm walking sideways, if I'm running backwards, or if I'm creeping forward, or if I'm sprinting forward. Your dog needs to be like, oh my gosh, I need to be at their side.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's all I really have to add in for that heel there.
Yeah.
The loose leash walking. This is kind of mainly just for the loose leash walking. Sometimes you can use this a little bit for distractions. Is an about face turn. So think about it like you're trying to teach your loose leash walking, or you're trying to teach the heel. And this is really if you're not working with a trainer and not using corrections in your training, this acts as a correction without needing professional help to teach it. So what you're gonna do is, you're walking forward with your dog. If the goal is to have them in a heel, as soon as they go past that heel position, you're gonna turn around. And your dog is hopefully, honestly, going to hit the end of their leash and go, oh crud, I messed up, where's mom, where's dad? And they're gonna rush to catch up to you, And as soon as they reach the heel position, you need to be there ready with a reward. Whether that is praise or whether that is food, whatever that looks like, get them back to your side. Yep, mark it and reward it. The other thing that you can do is, you can continue to walk once you've turned around, but you also want to mix in stopping and having them come back and get to your side, right? That's part of teaching it as a position. Sorry, teaching the heel as a position, or teaching loose leash walking as a position, almost. Loose leash walking is actually a lot harder to teach than a heel, in my opinion.
Personally speaking, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't give the dog as much clarity.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't give even the owners like a set target to reach. Whereas the heel, you and the dog can get completely on the same page. There is a clear expectation of have your eye or your ear at my leg.
Yep.
So just using that about face to turn and walk away from them, and then create that opportunity for them to catch up. So creating opportunity, hey, you made a mistake. This is a little bit of a correction. And then now you fixed it, and I'm going to come back in and make fixing it valuable. Right? Something else that you can do, if none of this sounds like a really good fit for you for your loose leash walking or pulling, is once your dog reaches the end of its leash, come to a stop. Okay? And then once you come to a stop, you want to wait for your dog to take the tension off the leash. Soon as the tension comes off the leash, reward. And your dog should come back to you for that reward, ideally. You can even, once they take the tension off the leash, use your leash, come back in with your leash pressure and call them to you. Right? And then when they get back to you, reward. The reason that that's going to be really helpful for some dogs, but not for others, is some dogs will turn that into a game in time. Right? Is they will actually create this game in their head, and they will get to the end of their leash, and they will go, okay, I've pulled for this many seconds, and it takes this many seconds or this many steps for mom or dad to stop and realize that I'm pulling. So I pull for this long, and then they stop, and I stay here for a minute on the end of my leash, and then I release the pressure, and then I go back to them for my reward, which is super fun and frustrating as an owner.
Yeah.
So just be wary of that, right? If you find that your dog is doing that, probably just means that that exercise isn't a good fit for your dog, and you need to go back to looking at teaching that heel or using the about face, the 180 turn. Anything else, Darren?
No, I think we've left them with enough on this one. This was kind of meaty.
Packed a lot of information in there. So, you guys sort back through this video, and yeah, we hope it's helpful. Thank
Good
you
luck.
guys.